Yo, what's going on everybody? This is Sikey here, and today we are covering probably one of the most disappointing hunters in Identity V history, and that is Clerk, aka Mrs. White Turdface. Why is she so disappointing exactly? Well, back in the test server when this Clerk hunter first released, this hunter was a lot different. She was a lot stronger, dare I say one of the strongest hunters in the game, but ever since then they have nerfed her down due to one small thing. They just nerfed one small thing about her, and now she is almost and utterly useless in a lot of situations, very easy to counter. But what are some tricks you can do with her? What are some things you can try to beat the survivors with, and what you can do as a survivor to avoid dying to her? We're going to cover that all today, all the basics with her, what are some more complicated things you can do. But with that being said, guys, let's jump right into the first important thing about this hunter, and that is that she can record survivors and she can record herself. That is the biggest ability that this hunter has. It is her main thing that she can do from the very start of the game to the very end of the game: record herself, record other survivors. And back then, before in the test server changes, the best thing she could do is actually record herself. Why? It's because you can control yourself doing stuff. It's a lot more reliable than recording what survivors do. You can also record yourself breaking pallets, vaulting windows, and swinging. And the swinging was the broken part that I'm talking about. Back then, you could start a swing, end your recording, and you could use that just like a sculptor slash blood queen ability, and it was absolutely and utterly broken. But ever since then, they've added a 1 second delay to anything you do when you record yourself. You want to block a window? Nope, you can't do it. Usually the survivor vaults it before you block it in time. You want to break a pallet? You have to wait 1 second before you can walk through the pallet. You want to use your swing to hit a survivor? You have to wait 1 second. You can't even reliably do it on chair rescues. Come on, that is ridiculous. Some of you might be wondering, well, why don't you just start the ability earlier? And the problem with doing that is that it's even easier to react to because the survivor clearly sees it's coming. Let's talk about what else she can do. She can record survivors dropping a pallet, vaulting a window, and decoding a cipher machine, also exit gates. Those are probably going to be your main sources of getting damage, which is not reliable, and we'll get to why. Because that recording, when you record survivors, there is no delay. And that's a lot better because when you record a survivor dropping a pallet, that's nice because it immediately drops them on them. You could drop a pallet on them or vault the window in front of them. They can't vault it or do anything with it. And you can actually swing immediately after using the recording, which is something a lot of hunters like Feaster, Blood Queen, these types of hunters, when they use their abilities, they can't swing for a little bit, and that gives survivors time to react. Over here, though, you can at least swing right away, so it's not awful, though it still lets the survivors react in time. It's not a lot of time, but it's still something, and that's something they can use an ability, or just transition, or just go around the powder window, or just completely ignore it. All of this assumes you even have the right recording. So if a survivor's about to vault a pallet, if you don't have something where you can block them from vaulting that pallet, then you're screwed. All you can do is record them vaulting a pallet and hope that later on they will vault another pallet. If you're recording them vaulting a window, you're gonna hope that they vault another window in the future. That's another thing you can be with this hunter with. Just don't repeat your actions, and even if you do, the hunter, as long as the hunter's a little bit farther away, not in basic hit range, then you could actually wait out the recording and just vault it before they can hit you. It's not very big money moves, let's just say it that way. Let's also talk a little bit about what happens when you record a survivor decoding a cipher machine. The way decoding works when you're recording is that it only lasts for however long you record. So let's say you recorded a survivor decoding a cipher machine. Usually that's not going to happen because every good survivor is going to get a heartbeat. They're going to get off. You're never going to get value out of it. So a lot of people went crazy about this. It just doesn't work. In paper, it sounds like a great idea. In reality, it's never going to work because no survivor is just going to stand still and let you be able to get value off of them.
It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay?
Even if you do record them for, like, literally, let's say half a second, well then guess what? Your recording will only show them decoding for half a second. Who would have guessed? It's not good at all. So if you reverse their decoding, you only reverse it by half a second. It's not great. It's not much. It's not worth it. It's hardly noticeable. And that's the recording. That's literally her main ability. It's extremely depressing. Let's talk a little bit about her other three abilities she starts with. She starts with reverse and forward. I really wish there was some sort of color coding because there's so many times where I accidentally have it on the wrong setting and it completely screws me over. Let's talk a little bit about her sculptor-like ability, where she can see across the map. This used to be a good ability because back then when you record yourself swinging, it was an immediate swing. It was like a sculptor / blood queen ability where you'd be able to immediately hit them. It was great. It was awesome. Now it sucks. Now pretty much all you can do is maybe hope they record the cipher and maybe they won't get off. And this is a pretty big deal too, because this was going to be this hunter's main source of cipher pressure. But now that when you swing and there's a delay every single time, it means that you can't do it reliably, you can't do it effectively. It's always going to have a delay on it. Look, man, I don't know how to put this. You can literally see them watching you. All you have to do is get off. You can literally see it. It's just, oh, heck no, man. This ability is not good. Her last ability is the ability to store up to 3 scrolls, 3 of these recordings. If you record yourself, you only get 1 copy. If you record other survivors, you get 2 copies. See, back then, it was supposed to be balanced because if you record yourself, well, you only get 1 copy of it, and that's a lot better. So that way, it's not as broken, because back then you were able to swing right away with your recordings, but now it's delayed, so it's not even worth recording yourself. You just want to keep stacking up, in my experience at least, you just want to keep stacking up recordings on survivors, and hopefully you'll get the right ones at the right times, and hopefully the survivors don't know how to transition kite you. It's just not good. And then finally we got the 1000 presence ability. It's fine. It's fine. Like if you record a survivor vaulting a window, well, now you don't have to worry about blocking that window, but the recording only lasts 10 seconds. I mean, at least you can vault it, but the only good thing about this ability is that when a survivor drops a pallet, they can't reuse it. But once again, transition kiting is just under. And then there's also the final full presence. Basically, this is supposed to address a completely different problem with this hunter, and that problem is that if you start recording a survivor and they just choose not to drop a pallet or vault the window or do anything for the next few seconds, then what you get is a recording that is extremely delayed, and if you try using it on a pallet or window, it's going to take a few seconds before it actually does anything. So it's just better to just delete that recording at that point and just try again. And that's what the full presence does. It's nice, so that way you can't just have survivors that just walk away from you and just keep walking and then drop stuff, because then you'll have a useless recording at that point. But still, how are you going to get full presence? It's the same problem with Wax Hearts, it's the same problem with Mad Eyes. Any good survivor is going to kite you early on, and by the time you get full presence, if you get full presence, it's going to be too late. All the survivors are going to get out, you're going to lose the game. It's just not good, not reliable. Yeah, man, I have no words for this hunter. This is, like, it's not the worst in the world. It's, like, probably B tier, but the problem still stands. It's kind of like the same problem with Feaster, where, like, it could give value if you're facing an inexperienced survivor, but in reality, you're not going to get a lot of good value. If you guys did enjoy this video, why not give it a like, subscribe if you're new around here for new videos where we talk about stuff, maybe give some suggestions about how the devs could do everything, literally everything better. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for joining along. Join my Discord server if you haven't already for new announcements for streams and videos. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.